This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Brett wants to know if you could ask any other wrestling legend anything, who would it be and what would you ask? That's kind of fun. I'm sure he's thinking about maybe someone you didn't meet, but maybe it is someone you met that you always wanted to ask one thing and never could for whatever reason.
Wow.
It's a deep cut right there, isn't it?
That's pretty stout. I haven't ever even thought in those terms. Maybe I would ask Buddy Rogers if he would ever have dreamed, besides the incredible career and influence that he's had on the industry, did he ever in his wildest dreams realize the impact that Ric Flair would have on the industry, being the fact that he idolized Buddy and pretty much stole Buddy's gimmick? And did he have any idea that it would last the test of time that it has?
Let's talk about Patrick Williamson. He wants to know who inspired you growing up. I don't think he meant as a wrestler, but he also asked if you had a mentor. But was there someone on TV or print or pop culture or sports? Do you have a favorite athlete as a kid? Did you have an inspiration as a kid? And did you have a mentor?
Yeah, my grandfather. Being a kid growing up virtually without a mother or father, thank God I had grandparents that raised me, took me in. And my grandfather was a barber, and I mean an old school barber that always had sitting in his barbershop firemen, policemen, construction workers, men that just wanted to get a normal haircut. Flat top was the big deal of the day, if I remember when I was a kid. Remember those, Conrad?
Yep.
But he always had a bunch of real men's men sitting in there to get a haircut. And he had a used truck, I want to say it was a 1953 Chevrolet with his dog box in the back that he put his two bird dogs in. And he would cut hair from about 6 in the morning to about 6 in the evening, Monday through Saturday. And he took Sunday off. And he would take a half a day off on Wednesday. Sometimes that he would take my grandmother to the grocery store and they would buy the week's groceries. And then he would go hunting or he would go fishing. And he had his fishing poles and he had his shotguns. And we had a very small house that we grew up in, wood floors, floor furnace, no air conditioning. Grew up with no air conditioning, and he had a garden in the backyard, the edge of the woods. And besides working 12 hours a day, there wasn't a day during season that I can remember that he didn't come in, change his clothes, have a bite of dinner, and then he would go out and work his garden. And he would come back in just about dark with a bag full of tomatoes or green beans or whatever it may be. And I just remember him sitting me down and saying, son, I know we don't have, much of a house here, because I would ask, Grandpa, how come we don't have air conditioning? Some of my friends that live up on the hill have air conditioning. Well, son, that's expensive, and we have other priorities. And I remember going with my grandmother to the grocery store and, getting a pack of Little Debbie's or something and putting in the shopping cart, and her saying, not this week, son, you have to put it back. And she didn't explain to me that we were on a budget and couldn't afford it. She just would say, not this week. And I remember him saying to me, son, I know our house is not as cool as people up the hill, and it's not as comfortable inside. He said, but we own this home, and when I'm no longer here, your grandmother and yourself, no one will ever be able to come in and take this away from you. This is ours. And that truck out there, I know it's old, but it's paid for and it's mine. And he would have been middle 60s about this time. And he said that garden out there gives us a lot of nice food that we might not have without it. And he just taught me that take care of your family first. Don't worry about the things you don't have, and appreciate the things that you do. And I always admired and respected him, and the fact that he wasn't even my father, and he was raising me, and the things that I needed, a ride home from a baseball game, I would ride my bicycle over to the baseball field for Little League and Pony League, and after he would get off work, obviously, he would come and try to catch the last couple innings of the game, and would throw my bike in the back of his truck, and because it was way dark by then, and he would drive me back home. And no matter what time we got in, 10, 11 o'clock at night, he was still up at 4:30, taking a shower, getting ready to go to work at 6. And he just pretty much taught me what being a man was all about, and work ethic, and working hard, and taking care of your family, and appreciating all the things that God had provided for you. And I don't think there would have been anybody on television that in my eyes could have been more man than my grandfather.
Let's, man, I don't know what to say. I really appreciate you sharing all that. Like, I don't know how we go back to just talking about wrestling. I just appreciate your candor here on the show.
Well, that's what's carried me through the business all these years, and kept me getting up and going out that door, and flying 5 hours to drive 3 hours to do a show, to drive another 5 hours. It was that thought process that had him at the first and foremost in my mind, him just saying, take care of your family, son.
Big Jake Black wants to know, Stevie Ray Vaughan or Bob Seger?
Bob Seger.
Amen.
Turn the Page should be mandatory listening, and be in possession of every wrestler alive, because it's our theme song.
Totally agree.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.